this week, if you can see this, I shared our table, and I want to bring it up for the guys. Sorry, just bear with me, guys. So we have two games that we are seeing this week, and they are the Dallas at Washington and like we said, the Kansas City at Denver, which will have a snow event. So, Mike, why don't you lead the way with the Dallas at Washington first, and then we'll get to the Kansas City game.
Yeah, sure. So when we look at our weather maps on our website, there is an area of precipitation or rain that's predicted to move in from like a southwest to northeast direction here. So when Colin goes back to Sunday afternoon around 18Z, which is like a 1 p.m. time, you can see how the little circle there turns orange. And you can this is right where there's a period like a shield of precipitation that looks to be associated with some kind of short front or short wave feature. And this is something that the models are still trying to sniff out, essentially, right? We're looking at some volatility in the models, some variability between some of the different weather models. And the take-home message here is there's a chance for some moderate rain during the game.
So, Sean, we see that Andy Dalton's going to be starting in this game. What does that mean for Andy Dalton playing in the rain at Washington, possible?
Yeah, and I think we'll have a chance to maybe preview this a little bit during our podcast today, which is super exciting. But we did some research given our new research analytics tool that our friend Nick Shirali built for us. And we were doing a little research with Andy Dalton, and what we found was that on average, during rainy games, there's not a big difference between how he performs in inclement weather, including rain, and how he performs normally in fair weather games. There does seem to be a tendency for a little drop, so I wouldn't be surprised if he shows about a 5 to 10% decrease in fantasy point production. This may be surprising, but Washington is ranked number 2 this year in their passing defense as far as yards given up. They've only given up 207 yards. They crushed it against, well, this isn't a big statement, but against Daniel Jones last week, the Giants. But, they have had some good games on defense in the passing game. So between that, the rain, Andy Dalton being new, kind of into this offense, getting his footing and all of that, I don't trust him in this game.
Yeah. So go ahead, I agree with the Andy Dalton comment. Yeah, we're just saying that he played most of his career in essentially Cincinnati, right? So now he's getting introduced into a new system, going up against a tougher Washington defense in a rain game. You just have to be worried about some of the upside there with some of the wide receivers in Dallas. I do want to mention what is showing right now to the folks on the Twitch stream and whoever's watching this on the YouTube is a new analytical platform that we've been building out. And it's a really cool thing that this is still kind of hush-hush. This is the premiere of it, right? This is a prototype. So it could very well look like this when we continue to fine tune it, but like we're starting to build out these cool things where you can essentially change the inputs to temperature or wind speed or precipitation, and then you can actually look at how you can actually change the point scoring system in the top right there. Right now we're in PPR, but you can go for different thresholds there to kind of look at how whatever you want to slice and dice the data. But the main thing here is you can compare some of these players, how they go in weather events, and compare them to their normal stats. And what we're showing on the left there is a little bit complicated. This is a math thing, so whoever we're still trying to figure out the best way to display this, right, guys? It's complicated when we're looking at these curves.
The analogy I use for this is when you go to a car show, you see the cars for the prototype is what's going to come out in a year or two for the car, and it looks like that, but it's never really the prototype. So this is our prototype. This is for us, but it's complicated, and they're walking me through it too. And if you're a weather weenie, you'll get some of this. But go ahead, talk us through what we're.
Yeah. So but the main message here is the green bars are indication of how the player performs in weather. The orange is how they perform in fair weather conditions, normal conditions. When we have our bars more on the right hand side of our graph, that means they're performing better. They're doing better. When they're more on the left hand side of the graph, closer to the y-axis, that means they're not doing so well. So this is we have 5 events for Andy Dalton in this case, and we could see the way the bars are stacked, the green bars. We have a few off to the left, but we also have a few maybe in the center, a little bit to the right. So we have a little bit of a sampling size issue here. But what we're showing on average is that he tends to perform on average about as he would in a fair weather game. Now, again, consider the defense. The defense has been playing pretty well. I would maybe side on him, maybe not doing quite as well as his normal distribution would show. But I don't think there's going to be a large difference. I would interpret this as his upside is capped. I don't expect him to have a tremendous game, but I think he'll get you a few fantasy points.
So if you're planning on starting Andy Dalton, the point is start him because he's probably going to hit his mean most likely.